All right, what is up, Tide fans? Whew. I think you'd feel the collective sigh of relief from Bryant-Denny Stadium when Alabama was able to hold off Texas A&M and get the win 24-20 over the Aggies, thanks to a last-second stand by the Alabama defense. Just a crazy game. Of course, you knew it was going to be different without Bryce Young as the starting quarterback, and Jalen Milroe did some good things. Then obviously the turnovers really hurt Alabama when they were on offense. He committed two fumbles, one interception. Then Jason McClellan would also have a fumble in the contest, and uh, just the turnovers were really the story of the game. And then the two misses from Will Reichard was also critical in the contest. Just a weird game overall. Uh, Milroe. I don't want to be over critical of a guy making his first career start, but the turnovers are really the only thing that really bothers me because you have to protect the football. That is the most precious thing on the field. Your number one job as a quarterback is to protect the ball, and he was just careless with the ball on his fumble attempts, and he made a bad read on his interception, and kind of just the defender baited him, and Milroe was late on the throw, and it just the turnovers really killed Alabama. They could never find consistency on offense. Just a real strange game for Alabama, but we're going to talk about that and everything else here in the post game. But if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up, and jump in the chat and give us your thoughts and opinions on the game today against Texas A&M. You take a win anytime that you can, especially against a team like A&M. I know they're struggling a little bit this year, but they got a lot of talent on their team. I heard in the broadcast that you know 50 of the top 100 players signed with four programs: Alabama, A&M, Ohio State. Were three of those, and Georgia being the other program. Sorry, my headphones are like breaking on me, but yeah, I would love to get everybody's thoughts and opinion. Jake's not able to be with me right now. He's on a mini vacation, so it's just me riding solo. But I wanted to get out here and just kind of talk to some fans and get their reaction to the game. Uh, I know the social media was buzzing all throughout the contest. Uh, People were being critical of Milroe. I understand it, but you got to give the guy a little bit of a break making his first career start. And I thought there was some things that we could have done differently offensively to maybe help Milroe a little bit. I tweeted out that there was, we didn't run one QB power, which the QB power is a good play for a guy with Milroe's skill set. Not only because he's a great runner with the football, but you get that extra lead blocker when you run QB power. And A&M was loading up the box. They knew Alabama was going to be running the ball on the majority of its snaps without Bryce Young, and we didn't really do a lot to help Milroe as far as called runs, and that really surprised me a good bit. The majority of his rushing yards come on scrambles, and just really bothered me the fact that we didn't do more to help him in the running game. And it's I thought with a week to prepare with Milroe being the starter that the game plan would be a little bit different than what it was. And like I said, I was just a little disappointed that the game plan didn't feature more uh, design runs for Milroe. Like I said, the majority of his rushing yards came on scrambles, on breakdown on pass plays. So credit Milroe on those long runs. He had that long run to set up the first touchdown. Nothing was there in the passing game, and he took off running. The middle of the field was wide open, and he was able to get Alabama in scoring position. Then hit Cameron Latou to get the scoring started. And once the turnover started happening, Alabama could never really find a good rhythm on offense after that. But Jahmyr Gibbs just continues to show that he is just an electrifying football player, and Alabama needs to get him the ball as much as possible. And another 150 plus yard performance from Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think Alabama finished with 288 yards rushing in the game, something along those lines. And just a really good. The offensive line for the most part did a really good job run blocking because, like I mentioned, um, A&M was really low in the box to stop the run. Anthony Compton says that no easy passes or screens to help build his confidence early. Yeah, that was another part that was surprising. I was shocked at how many down the field throws they were looking to give Milroe early in that game. I thought early in the contest is you would see, like Anthony said, more, short to intermediate passes from Milroe, some quick screens to the receivers, but you didn't see much of that. And uh, just, I hate being critical of play calling because, you know, some great play calls could have been made and Alabama just didn't execute. That happens a lot too. So uh, I hate being overcritical of play callers and overcritical of players, especially a guy like Jalen Milroe who's making his first career start against a team with as much talent as A&M has, especially in their front seven. And then they also have a very veteran defensive backfield. Antonio Johnson's a great player. Damani Richardson's a great player. So they have a lot of talent there in the back end of that defense. And, uh, maybe the game plan wasn't what I was expecting, but Alabama does get the win. I mean, there's not many teams that can commit 4 turnovers, miss 2 field goals. A&M has that spectacular catch on their last drive that kept that drive going, and just not many teams can survive that, and Alabama survives it. They survived that, the pass interference call on Brian Branch, which was real ticky tacky. When you're talking about crunch time, and there's a lot of plays where that play is not called, and just really surprised me that pass interference was called there, and it seemed like it was kind of late that the flag was thrown. So uh, but I don't want to be overcritical of referees either. That's not an easy call to make, especially inside Bryant Denny Stadium. But I thought the fans, especially late in the fourth quarter, the fans realized that the game was hanging in the balance, and the defense needed some energy. And credit the defense. Really, they were putting some very bad situation throughout the contest due to turnovers and missed field goals, and what you may have, and they really did as bad as good as you can expect. A&M made a few unbelievable catches. Haynes King made some good throws, some clutch throws, and fortunately for Alabama, they were able to survive and get the last second win, or hold off the Aggies' attempt for a last second win there with 3 seconds left from the 2 yard line. And uh, you know, uh, Terran Arnold got beat a couple times, but he did have a pick, and then he has that good coverage there on the last play of the game, and that's what you're going to expect from a freshman corner in the SEC, playing against really good wide receiver. Evan Stewart's a really talented guy, and I think you saw, uh, a guy like Terran Arnold. What you got to remember playing corner is that you got to take your good with your bad, and I thought for the most part. Uh, the defensive backs did a good job. There was a few plays where A&M had some guys running wide open, and uh, that was a little surprising because that's really about the first time that's happened this season against Alabama. The secondaries played really well all season. This is probably their worst performance of the year, and it wasn't even that bad. I mean, they threw for just a little over 200 yards, and they threw it around 50 times. So that's a pretty good average for your defense. And I thought as far as stopping the rushing attack from Texas A&M, Alabama did a really good job. DeMarco Helms just continues to play sound football. Him and Brian Branch are really good in the backfield at coming up and making plays. Either at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. Will Anderson was in the backfield all game long. Dallas Turner comes up with 2 sacks. Chris Braswell played the best game of his Alabama career. So you got a glimpse of what the Alabama pass rush can be when you have Braswell, Turner, and Anderson on the field at the same time. And I got to take these headphones off. They're driving me nuts. But I would love to get everybody's reaction there in the comment section as we're going to go live for just a few more minutes to talk about this matchup. Like I said, Jake couldn't join me. He's on a mini vacation, but I couldn't help but jump on here to just kind of give my quick thoughts. I just anytime you get a win in the SEC with your backup quarterback after committing 4 turnovers, missing a pair of field goals, you got to just take it and move on to the next game. I'm sure Bryce Young is going to be healthy for Tennessee, and we'll see a different style Alabama offense, one that Alabama fans have been used to over the last couple of seasons, and just take the win, move on. A&M threw everything they had at Alabama, and it wasn't pretty for Alabama at all, but they were able to get the win, and that's really all that matters. And uh, You're 6-0 at the halfway point of the season. Now you're going up to face Tennessee, one of the best teams in the country. They're undefeated as well. They're hungry for a win over Alabama. Alabama's beat them 15 years in a row now. So Tennessee is gonna be tough, and Alabama's got some close games under their belt now this season, and they've got some adversity they've had to go through, and we're gonna see what this Alabama team is made of this week as they prepare for Tennessee after this tough victory at home over A&M with a backup quarterback. And both teams play with their backup quarterback, but the difference is Haynes Kings has played in a bunch of games for A&M, and Milrow has never really. This is his first career start. Outside of what he did against Arkansas last week when Alabama already had the lead. Uh, this is really his first big time game, and he handled it like you would expect. He had some turnovers, but he also showed some good plays as well. Just the, but you're not going to win a lot of games just having 111 yards passing in the SEC. So uh, got to get better passing the ball. Obviously, Milrow has a long way to go in developing in that part of his game, but you can see that the talent is there. It's not a lack of talent. It's just a lack of experience, and it's a lack he just needs to continue to develop. It's a long process. He's just a redshirt freshman, a long way to go, and he ain't going to do anything but get better. And I have confidence that he'll be a really good football player when it's his time to take control of the Alabama offense. And I'm sure next year is going to be a big competition, with him and Ty Simpson for that starting quarterback position once Bryce Young has moved on to the NFL. But I would love to hear from everybody in the comment section what their thoughts and opinions were on the game, good, bad, ugly, whatever you thought. I think, like I said, in this type of situation, you got to take the win and just move on to the next one, and be glad that you were able to survive, an ugly win at home, and just move on and just grow from it. This team this is a good growing opportunity, not only for Jalen Milrow, but for some of those younger players that are getting playing time. Deontay Lawson gets his first career start with Jalen Moody out. Coach Saban said in his post game press conference that Moody has a bruised kidney, and they're kind of taking that day by day and kind of seeing how he continues to improve each and every day. So his status against Tennessee is uncertain. That's obviously a big blow for Alabama because Moody has been playing as good as any linebacker in the country. But I thought Deontay Lawson played a really good football game considering it's his first career start. And uh, I hope that Alabama fans don't jump the gun on Jalen Milrow. I think it's too premature. It's too early to say that this guy cannot be a quarterback at Alabama. Was it pretty? Absolutely not. But it's his first career start. Uh, you could tell the kid was nervous, and just relax. I think he's going to be fine. But the good news is that Alabama most likely will have Bryce Young back. It looks like he probably could have played tonight. Uh, I think they were just really being cautious with Bryce because he has an incredible future ahead of him, and it's not worth risking here in the season because the truth is that the season's a long season, and they lost the A&M game last year and was still able to make the college football playoffs. So uh, I think if Coach Saban thought for sure that Alabama was going to lose this game, that he might have put Bryce in because I think Bryce is healthy enough to play. But I think they were just being extra cautious and handling the Bryce Young situation with care, so they don't further damage his future and his career at the next level and for the rest of the season, in fact. So uh but I'm not going to stay on here forever. If nobody has anything else to add there in the chat, I would love to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions. Give me your quick, one line thought on the game and what you're thinking about this team moving forward for the rest of the season, and how you feel about the next weekend's matchup with Tennessee. I did see on Twitter all throughout the game, and like I said, I'm not here to be overly critical of the offensive play calling. I do not think it was Bill O'Brien's best game. That's about all I'm going to say. If anybody has any negative comments about Bill O'Brien, please drop them in the chat. I would love to discuss them. I don't feel like that he gave Milrow the best opportunity to be successful. We saw how comfortable Milrow was with those crossing patterns across the middle of the field. that were, quicker throws, and there was only about 3 of them throughout the entire game. Now Milroe did miss the one. He had Prentice on the big sack he took, which forced a long field goal attempt from Will Rockard. He had Kobe Prentice. Kobe might have even scored on the play if Milroe sees him running free on the crossing route. So obviously, but see, that's you got to take those plays when you're playing a quarterback that's making his first career start. Those type of things are going to happen. So you have to be able to live with that. But what you can't live with is not giving Milroe the right opportunities. On Alabama's last possession on offense, it's 3rd down and 3. Run a quarterback power. Get that extra blocker and get your 215-pound quarterback running downhill behind that extra blocker to pick up those 3 yards, and then the game's over with, and you ain't got to have that nail-biting finish at the end with Texas A&M with a shot to win it and pull the upset from the 2-yard line. Run that QB power, get that extra blocker out in front of Milroe, and I think he picks it up with ease, and the game's over with. But instead, we get cute, run Gibbs in motion. Nobody's falling for that at this point in the game. They know that Alabama's going to be coming straight downhill with Jace McClellan in that formation, considering the down and distance and the point of the game that it was in, and so it didn't fool anybody. And of course, A&M stops it because they have great players on the defensive line, and uh, just there was not enough design runs for Milroe, in my opinion. That would have benefited Milroe and his play in the game. I thought the play calling was a little suspect, and that's about the nicest way that I can put it. If I don't want to be too overly critical, like I said. But Gibbs, I want to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs for just a minute before we wind this down. I thought he was incredible. He almost broke about 5 or 6 runs in the contest, and he just continues to show that he is one of the most electrifying players in college football. And I think it's he's going to be the guy that Alabama leans on the rest of this season on offense. I know Bryce Young is most likely coming back, and that's going to change things a little bit for this Alabama offense. But you can see that Gibbs is the best playmaker for this Alabama offense, and they got to do whatever they can to get him the ball in as many ways as possible. But I was really happy with the way he played. The offensive line played well. They protected Milroe for the most part really good. The sacks that he took was mostly on him. But like I said, that's things you have to be willing to take when you're starting a quarterback in his first career start. So you just got to live with it, move on. And I think, like Coach Saban said in his post game press conference, anytime that you're playing your backup quarterback and he's making his first career start, everybody else on the team has to play better. I didn't think it was our best effort from our wide receivers. Outside of Gibbs, it wasn't our best effort from our running backs. Defensively, there was a few times where we were, uh, you know, blowing assignments in the back end that allowed A&M to pick up first downs that they shouldn't have picked up. And then Will Rockard, who's always automatic, misses 2 field goal attempts. So we didn't do anything really to help Jalen Milroe in the game. And I know he didn't help himself that much either with the 3 turnovers. The interception I can live with. He's trying to make a play downfield to Jermaine Burton. He was just a little late, and he underthrew it just a little bit. And those things are going to happen. But the 2 fumbles are just inexcusable. You have to hold on to the football. That's football 101. You can't be running around the pocket with one hand on the football and not even having it tucked away in your body. But you saw him improve that in the second half. He was running with that ball tucked in. Uh, more there in the second half. But if nobody has anything else to add, I'm going to really just wrap this up and head on out for the night. It's getting late, getting close to midnight, but Alabama does get the win. You have to take the win, enjoy it for the next 24 hours, then move on to Tennessee Hate Week, and hopefully we can spoil their undefeated season up in Knoxville next weekend. And hopefully Bryce Young will be back to lead this Alabama offense, and this team will continue to show signs of improvement. I think the offensive line plays better and better each and every week. Jahmyr Gibbs is getting better each and every week, and you're starting to see uh, the weapons for Alabama. What hurts the most about Bryce Young being out this week is that it kind of stunted the growth that the wide receivers were showing over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully they can kind of get back on track this week in practice as Alabama prepares for Tennessee. But if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. But that's going to wrap up our live post game report following Alabama's 24-20 victory over Texas A&M. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, roll.